Yeah, so here's the running order for the session. Yeah, so thanks for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the session. So I'm going to hand over to our first panelist, who will introduce themselves. So the first panelist is Financial Force, and it's Kim who'll be talking to you.
Thank you very much, Ryan. So I am going to share my screen, if that's okay, and I think that will stop you from sharing yours. So do you mind if I beat you off? Thank you. There we go. So hopefully you can see the slide that says Introduction to Financial Force. Excellent, thank you. Great. Well, thank you to all of the students for attending today, and thank you to the Career Service for inviting me along. It's great to have the opportunity to talk to you virtually. So to introduce myself, my name is Kim Bell. I work for Financial Force and I'm the Emerging Talent Manager here. So after this session, I think our LinkedIn profiles will be shared with you. So please feel free to add me, it'll be great to connect. So in my role, I look after all things entry-level talent for the company. So that includes our graduate program end to end. So the creation of the roles through to recruitment, through to designing the graduate program and then implementing it in collaboration with the managers, and then ensuring the success of our graduates once they join. So if you have any questions for me about any of the process, just let me know. So it is very varied. I really enjoy my job, and yeah, very happy to engage with anyone who wants to pick my brain, even after this session. To summarize what we do, we are a tech company. Sometimes we get mistaken for being a finance company with the name that we have, but we are a tech company, and we build something called Enterprise Resource Planning Systems, ERP, as it's commonly known. And these applications are built on a cloud platform called Salesforce, which you may or may not have heard of. So our applications are used by businesses to plan their resources. They're systems that automate the processes around the financials, people, stock, sales, all sorts of other things as well. And basically they enable companies to scale, to provide accurate data, to see where they're at, to be able to make decisions quickly. And these applications are used in all sorts of sectors. So here are some of our customers. They come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, from small businesses to mid to global titans, but they all have a clear focus, and that's on their customers' success and on a commitment to being agile, basically being able to move quickly, make decisions quickly. You'll notice some familiar names on here, I'm sure. So Google, AWS, Adobe are all customers of ours. And we've got offices all across the world. We started in Harrogate. We are Yorkshire born and bred and very proud of it. We have Yorkshire tea in all of our offices, I should add. And the graduate program is based in Harrogate, but then you can see obviously there's lots of other locations where we work as well. So our tech hubs are in Harrogate and Granada in Spain. And if you've never been to Granada, I highly recommend it. So over the past couple of months, so since the 6th of September, we reopened our Harrogate office. Here are some nice pictures from our office, and I do have a few more to show you as well. We've adopted a hybrid working model, as I'm sure many other organisations have. And for us, it means that employees have the opportunity to work at home some of the time and from the office some of the time. And these pictures are our fuel stations. So we have snacks available in our office, absolutely free, quite dangerous, but we also have free lunchtime gym classes as well to counterbalance it. And the image on the right is an informal meeting area, and that's just one of many that we have in our office. And then here we have our games room, the top two images. So we have pool, table tennis, games consoles. We actually have an arcade machine as well. And then the bottom left is our spa. It's actually a mindfulness room. And those egg chairs are the same egg chairs that they had at the assessment centre in the Men in Black movie. So an excuse to rewatch that film if you haven't done that in a while, to check. And then the bottom right is our kitchen area. So it's very open plan, collaborative space that has been tailored for our needs. So the office was refurbished a few years ago. So it's been tailored with the work that we do in mind. So it's fit for purpose. Here is a list of our positions that we're recruiting in 2022. So these roles will start in September, and they include UX, user experience design. So these people ensure the usability of our products through the design of applications. So if you ever wonder why you chose Spotify over Apple Music, potentially it's because of the usability of the service, and that's all about UX design. Our content creators who create the online help and training materials and videos for our customers, so that our customers can understand how to use the features in our products, because if they don't have that material and they don't know what to do with our systems, they're not going to have a good experience. Our software engineers who write the code, so they work within an agile development environment using Kanban, Lean and Pull methodologies, if you've heard of those. And they are in feature crews in mixed discipline teams, so with UX, content, and also product managers. So the product managers are the people who decide what is going to be built within the product. So they work with our customers to understand what the user needs, to then work with the development teams to make sure our products stay competitive, and to make sure that companies like Google continue to want to use them. So our job descriptions are all advertised on our vacancy portal. There's a link there as well, so feel free to take a look at that. You can also find them on the Newcastle University vacancy site. And just quickly, so here are some images from the business. So top left is before COVID, our graduation meal. That was like the last thing I did before lockdown. So it's a really nice memory, and we're hoping to be able to do that again soon rather than having virtual quizzes. To the right in the top is from our virtual customer conference earlier this year. We have become very adept at using virtual tools, as I'm sure everybody has. And then the two bottom images. So the bottom left one was to prove that we have been to in-person careers events. Looking forward to getting back to that eventually. And then bottom right is a US conference that we went to with Salesforce called Dreamforce. And we used to do that every year. Just, sorry, clicking onto the next slide. It's not moving. Oh, I think that's because that is the last slide. So yeah, I will pass on to the next person. Thank you very much, and looking forward to questions.
Oh, yeah, it's us, isn't it? Infinity Works. Yeah, I thought someone was gonna ask us to come in. Thank you very much, Kim. I've seen Kim at many fairs in the past. So it's really good to see your face. So hello everybody, I'm Danielle. I'm the Academy Manager at Infinity Works. I've worked here for about 4.5 years. We don't have any slides today. We're just going to talk you through who we are, what we do, and I'm going to pass over to my colleague Bradley, who actually is Newcastle University alumni and has been through our academy as well, and is now a consultant. So Infinity Works started approximately 7 years ago. 4 friends set up the business, hoping to just set up a small boutique consultancy with a couple of clients to be able to kind of work on stuff that they were really interested in. And things didn't quite go to plan. More and more was asked of them, and more clients came on board. And before we knew it, we got to the year 2021, and we were 500 people strong across 4 locations, and we've recently this year been acquired by the global consultancy Accenture. So that just means that we are now part of a company that is quite large. I think there's about 100,000 people or something across the globe, meaning the opportunities open to everybody at Infinity Works has just expanded, which is a really positive thing. So who we are, Infinity Works, we're a digital transformation consultancy. So we work with businesses and public sector organizations like NHS and Sky Bet at Sainsbury's Bank, and other investment banks down in London, Manchester Airport, Well Pharmacies, a lot of different sectors across the board, and we help them either create something new that they want to be able to offer to their customers. We help them make their products more accessible. We help them automate things that are probably a little bit more manual, and just for them to be able to provide a better service to their clients and to their users. Or we also might be getting people from physical infrastructure into the cloud, so we help them across the board on the cloud computing side. So yeah, as explained, we are now over 500 people. Because we've been acquired by Accenture, things are expanding, and so is our academy. Our academy started approximately 5 years ago. We hired 2 people onto that academy, and if we fast forward to this year, we're actually running 4 academies a year now. So the plan is to hire 80 people, approximately 80 people, from September to September. So we've just started a cohort off, and they're 20 people strong at the moment. We'll have another academy in January, and then another one in March, one in May, and one in September next year. So we have vacancies available for the January academy for anyone who might be doing, I don't know, PhD or something, and it might be appropriate to you. And we're also hiring for our September 2022 academy. So I'm going to pass over now to Bradley, who's going to tell you a little bit more about the academy and about his experience at InfinityWorks, and a little bit more about the culture here.
Yeah, thanks, Danielle. Yeah, so as mentioned, I'm a former Newcastle University student. I graduated about 18 months ago now. I joined the InfinityWorks Academy straight from there. And so what exactly is the InfinityWorks Academy? Well, it's a 3-month-long program, and it takes people that have not necessarily all of the required skills to go straight into a client and to be a consultant. It takes people who have the passion and the technological problem solving skills that is required to go on and develop that. And it teaches you everything you need to know from full stack engineering, so React, Nodes, to cloud technology, so a big focus on AWS, but now also increasingly GCP and a little bit of Azure on some clients as well. And also the non-technical skills that you need to be a consultant as well, so how to interact with clients, how to implement a Scrum methodology, how to work in an agile way and help bring clients that might not be as far along on their kind of agile journey into working in a truly agile team and embracing that kind of mindset and approach. And then also, yeah, all the other non-technical skills around that as well, so negotiation skills and presentation skills and everything along with that. I've been at InfinityWorks now just over a year, and in that time I've done the academy, picked up certifications in AWS and also the Scrum Master certification, currently working on one in Google Cloud as well. I've had the opportunity to work on 2 different clients. My first client was YBS, Yorkshire Building Society, helping them deliver their first mobile app to market, so helping people manage their savings online and in a mobile app, which they didn't have that ability to do before. And now I'm working for a German logistics company, helping them build out a new authentication platform. So yeah, in the space of a year, I've had the opportunity to work on 2 very different clients, 2 very different working environments, and had the opportunity to play around with a lot of different technologies as well. So that's from me.
Thanks so much, Bradley. So we have next Oliver to chat to us a little bit about your experiences and to tell us a bit about the Labcorp company. Thanks.
Thanks, Rona. Thank you, everyone. I hope you can hear me okay. Rona, I've just tried to share my screen and it's disabled for myself as well. I have to change that. I've got some slides to go through. Oh, brilliant. Thank you. So yeah, obviously I'm just going to have a bit of a chat to you today about our placement opportunities, and obviously a little bit about what we do and the company in general. So I think my slides should be on the screen now. I hope you can see them okay. So my name's Oliver. I'm from Labcorp Drug Development. I work in the early talent attraction team here, and my role is to recruit for our placement opportunities and also our apprenticeships. So mainly today I'm going to touch upon our placement opportunities because we're recruiting for those at the moment. So Labcorp is a leading global life sciences company, helping solve some of the biggest health challenges, from moving personalised medicine forward at the most individual level to improving population health on a global scale. You might have come across us at some point as Covance, and Covance was part of Labcorp since 2014. But to better showcase our innovative patient-centric solutions as one company, we are now called Labcorp Drug Development. We've got a pretty simple mission, and it's to improve health and improve lives. We do this by harnessing science for human good, as we know that one test or one trial can have the power to change everything. Labcorp provides nearly 5,000 diagnostic tests daily, and by combining science and data, we provide end-to-end drug development services, including early stage research and development, clinical development, and commercial market access for hundreds of pharmaceutical, biotech, and medical device clients around the world. We've got 72,000 employees worldwide and operate in over 100 countries. So some of the things that we look for for people in our early careers are a passion for healthcare and an interest in the realm of drug development. Previous healthcare or lab experience is helpful, but it's not required. Obviously, I'm not sure on the situation with you guys on the call if you're doing sort of lab-based roles, a lot of you, or can appreciate in your first year you probably missed out on the chance to do a lot of lab work. So that's obviously something we're taking into account now with your application. So I won't worry about that too much. Everybody's in the same boat. We're looking for leadership. So times when you've displayed a strong character at your university or in any part-time roles that you have, somebody who's got the ability to independently share your communication through interpersonal skills and sort of team working settings, working in team working settings as well, and the comfort and ambiguity and the flexibility to problem solve through critical thinking is something strongly desired at Labcorp as well. So we have a placement program. You might see it as an intern program, but it is a 12-month placement program that we offer. As I mentioned, we're an American-based company, so you do see the word intern or internship a lot. Our placements are 12 months long and starting in July 2022, and they're all full-time paid positions. You must be a current student to apply, with applications done online, and I'll pop the link to our early career site in the chat box towards the end of the call. And our applications are open at the moment. So if you apply for a role with us, if you're eligible and suitable, you'll then be offered a telephone interview. Some of the sort of questions you come across on telephone interviews. So, what do you know about the business? Why do you want to work for Labcorp? What do you know about the placement you've applied for, and why is it how is it connected with your studies as well? Following on from there, we've got something in the process called HireView. And HireView is sort of like a video platform where we can ask a set question and you sort of respond to the question with a video, and it's just a way to get a better idea of your personality. The questions might be a mix of like professional questions, personal questions. So yeah, just to get a better idea of how you might fit into the team, and then going through to sort of one-to-one and final interviews around December time before Christmas. Appreciate a lot of you might have exams in January, so obviously giving you enough time to fully prepare for your exams and not have to worry about sort of trying to secure a placement when you're trying to focus on your studies as well. Just in terms of like the final interviews, probably a little bit still up in the air if they'll be done in person or face to face, obviously around the current situation, and also if you're based in a location that's a little bit further away from where you've applied, and obviously we can do video interviewing as well. So just a little bit about the placement experience at Labcorp. So you'll join the Global University Intern Program, and during this year you'll get the chance to get hands-on industry experience and make new connections. We have professional development workshops, so making the move from the campus to the corporate environment. You get a chance to hear from leaders within the business, business skills, business etiquette, presentation skills, things like that. Depending on the role that you do, you'll be learning different technical skills. So if it's in a lab, different sort of things around like cell-based assays, ELISA, cell culture, and that sort of thing. And also get the chance to sort of end of program exposure by doing presentations to senior leaders, and get the chance to make connections with other placements in local sites, and have panel discussions and things like that. So just a little bit about our placement opportunities for 2022. So we've got 6 sites across the UK that we're currently recruiting for. We have Harrogate, so it's an early development site, so a lot of early stages of research and development. Some of the departments that you might find roles: genetic toxicology, metabolism, immunology, and immunotoxicology, dose formulation. We've also got some more commercial positions and corporate roles, like actually a role within the early talent attraction team and commercial support. We have a site at York, which is a biochemistry site. We're looking for quality control analysis at our York site. We also have Leeds, which is you do sort of data management, statistical programming, proposals management, and a lot of those roles are focused around the clinical trial side of the business. So, for example, statistical programming, you're getting information and from like clinical trials that are taking place. So, having an understanding if a particular sort of trial, if say a dosage needs upping or needs changing a little bit, you'll be able to sort of track the trends on that. Huntingdon is quite similar to our Harrogate site, but a little bit smaller. Again, genetic toxicology, metabolism, immunology, and immunotoxicology, and a couple of different ones there. So radiosynthesis and biotransformation, pharmacokinetics, and terrestrial ecotoxicology. Maidenhead, again, pretty similar to the data management, statistical programming from clinical trials. We also have a role in finance and operational risk management there. And then we have a site in Eye, which is in Suffolk, and we're looking for somebody, a lab technician in environmental FAE. So that's everything I'm going to touch upon today. Obviously, looking forward to receiving questions later on. I'll put the link to our early career site in the chat box, and also my email address as well, if anybody wants to follow up with anything, and LinkedIn, etc. If you have any other questions following on today. Cheers, thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much, Oliver. That's great insight, like the other 2 presentations there. And last but not least, we're going to move on to Rupert, who's going to talk to us a little bit about Splunk.
Thanks, and thanks to all the other companies there. It's been great to hear about all the interesting things you do. So my name is Rupert Truman. I am a sales engineer, which I'll get to a little bit later as to what that is, at Splunk. And Splunk, aside from having quite a funny name to those of us who are based in the UK, comes from the American term spelunking, which is essentially what we call potholing or cave diving. And the tenuous link between that and what we do at Splunk is that we allow businesses to dive into what their data is telling them. And that can be structured data, so things like the various files that you would have on your computer systems, through to sorry, that's unstructured data, through to structured data in the form of the various logs that are produced by all of the systems that underpin a particular business. So Splunk is a San Francisco-based $30 billion company, and what we do is we produce and work with companies to get them to use our platform, Splunk. To give you an example of the sort of things that our customers use it for, say you are a large e-commerce site, maybe picture like an Amazon or whatever. Every time a customer comes onto your site, they produce web access logs, web server access logs, which will tell you the places they're clicking on your website, the actions they're trying to perform. So are they buying, or are they adding to cart? Are they just viewing a page? Where they're coming from in the world, they're giving their IP address and the language that they're using. And all this information, if a company isn't making use of this data, is being wasted. So imagine you don't sell any umbrellas for 3 months. It could be because it's summer and people aren't buying umbrellas, or it could be because the page in which you're trying to sell umbrellas from is broken, and because you're not looking at the logs, you can't see that every error that's coming to that site is producing, well, every page that's coming to that page is producing errors. So it's about taking all of that data and allowing businesses to visualize and alert on it. The main things that businesses use for our operations, so getting an idea as to how healthy the infrastructure is, the servers and the web stack that's upholding their business is performing, so they can know before it goes down that it's going to go down if there's an outage. And cybersecurity, so how are people interacting with your networks, your endpoints, and can we detect suspicious behavior before it happens to prevent ransomware attacks or information exfiltration from perhaps unhappy employees who are leaving soon. All these things are used for cybersecurity through Splunk. Just to give a couple other interesting examples, because really Splunk could be used for anything. We market ourselves as the data to everything platform. Gatwick Airport use Splunk to detect everything from the moment that you park in their car park. So it picks up how many cars are in the car park, how busy that is, to actually advise on how many employees are then going to go to security to help model passenger flow and increase satisfaction, right through to orchestrating planes that are landing on their runway, because it's the single biggest single runway airport in the world in terms of number of flights that are coming from it per day. Another interesting example is McLaren. So if any of you are F1 fans, you may well have seen Splunk on the side of McLaren's car. That's because we work with them to ingest all of their data actually from their cars on race day to visualize and generate performance in terms of how the track is performing and how various parts of that car is performing. So that's a bit of a brief rundown of what we do. Lots of different stuff. If you're interested in data, then Splunk's a very interesting place to work because we do all sorts of things with it. I am a sales engineer, which is essentially a half, well, it's half sales, half engineering, really is the easiest way to describe it. But it's essentially going into businesses and working to identify what problems they're trying to solve are, and acting as the technical lead to actually work through with them and show that Splunk might be the best solution for them to go forward and use it. I was a student at Newcastle University until 2019. During that time, I went and worked for Splunk on an internship, and then what was supposed to be just a 3-month job over summer holidays turned into something where I'm still there now. So that's got to say something about how enjoyable it is to work at Splunk. And in terms of the roles that we are advertising, it's around that 3-month summer internship perspective. So I'm going to put right in there now a link to a form where you can register your interest. In terms of the actual roles themselves, I'll put a link into the chat there as well. But you can also find this hopefully on the Newcastle jobs website that's been alluded to earlier. There are roles based around back-end engineering. So site reliability for our cloud service that we provide to customers, as well as general performance of the platform. And then what I do, so sales engineering, with any language skills that you have really being a plus on that front. In terms of where we're based, we have offices all over the world. I mentioned that we're based originally from San Francisco. I'm coming to you today from our Paddington office. We've also got one in Reading in the UK. And this summer, all the interns we had were scattered around the UK, because obviously when everyone's remote, it doesn't really make too much of a difference. So I wouldn't worry too much about location on that front. And looking forward to any questions that come on.
Right, thank you so much, Rupert. Nice to hear insight from Splunk as well, and for clearing up where the name came from. I must say that was one thing I was curious about.
Yeah, something we get a lot is a lot of raised eyebrows.
Well, I'm glad to see Oliver. Thanks for making it back into the room. Appreciate that. I hope it's okay, Ryan. We haven't had any questions yet from our students, so I just encourage you to drop those in the chat or raise your hand while you're thinking. I hope it's all right. I just jump in with a question, because that was really, really great. Thank you so much for that kind of array of insight and very different perspectives, but really interesting where you're all coming from and how our students can kind of get into this area, but also once you're in the company, kind of the variety of roles that you can get involved with, quite a lot of which are already advertising or will be in the near future. So I was just quite interested in, I think it was something Oliver kind of alluded to, the kind of non-linear bit where you didn't need lab experience to be working in a lab setting. I'd love to hear kind of everyone's perspective on kind of what it is you look for in applications, and if you accept applications from different cohorts, different disciplines, and if it's not kind of a don't know, business related degree for business role, what kind of suggestions you can make for kind of selling that application. Anyone who wants to jump out, or I can pick on you.
I'll jump in for the from the Splunk perspective. So
Thanks, yeah.
in terms of pure engineering, that usually comes from people who have some level of programming background, so that lends itself to comp-sci graduates or anything else with that experience. On the commercial, sales engineering front, so what I did come from a computer science background, but really it's anyone who's sort of interested in getting slightly technical with the platform, but also thinks that they perform well in terms of communicating various difficult concepts to people and wants to sort of balance that technical piece with actually working a bit more consultatively. So it's a range of skills, and we don't really push on particular degrees. It's more about the person and the things that drive them.
That's great. Yeah, and it's often, you know, like you say, there will be some specific roles that do require kind of a technical background or specific qualifications or kind of skills that would lend themselves well to it. But nice to know that there are one variety of roles that are really really applicable to a lot of different disciplines. I wonder if Danielle, I see you've unmuted. If you maybe want to contribute a little bit there.
Absolutely, yeah. So I was just going to say, for Infinity Works, we do hire the role that we hire people into our academy it's kind of a dual role. It's a full stack engineer and also a consultant, because everybody who works within a client team is a consultant. But we don't ask for any specific career. Well, we don't ask for any background specifically at all. We hire graduates. We also hire career changers and tech returners. So we would say the most important thing to us is that a person has done some coding in their spare time, some development, and found that actually that is what they love to do. So if it is a university student, we've had people from fashion design, geography, English literature. It doesn't matter to us what degree background you come from when it comes to the university side of things. But likewise, we hire people from a range of career backgrounds as well, you know, in different walks of life. So we like to keep it as open as possible, because that's, I think, you know, where you get diverse mindsets and people are tackling problems differently, which is what we want.
That's really nice to hear, yeah, and it's so important to have that blend and different perspectives, isn't it? And you can't always get that unless you've got different ways of thinking and different kind of mindsets, etc.
Yeah.
Kim.
Yeah.
Yes, just following on from what Danielle said there, we also, from a diversity perspective, try to keep it open. We have a range of different roles. So we have the graduate software engineer, where we do look for people that, I think passion and ability to learn are the key things with our positions and what we look for in our recruitment process. And then the soft skills, like wanting to work in a collaborative environment with people, communicating. For the graduate software engineer position, we do ask that there is some experience of object-oriented programming. The individuals that we hire tend to come from all sorts of different backgrounds, so maths, physics, computer science, psychology, like anywhere where there's been some Python programming as well. And then for content, really it's about enjoying writing, enjoying technical communication, having a good eye for grammar, accuracy to detail. So there, and also an interest in technology, because you will be using technical systems to create the training materials. And then with the product management role, this year we hired somebody with a geography background, we hired someone with a product management background. It's really open. So really for the product management side, it's the ability to problem solve, to be able to communicate, to be able to ask the right questions of customers, to be able to understand complicated concepts, but we will train you in the technical side and in how to do the job. And then finally, the UX role. So to the point on career changes, last year we saw quite a lot of people career changing, like from the fashion industry, for example, and we've been hiring career changers and also people from different degree backgrounds. Product management as well that's quite a popular career choice for people that have been studying that. So, but like I say, passion and a passion for the role is crucial, and the potential to learn, they're the key things for us.
Thanks, Kim, and a really interesting array of backgrounds. I hope that speaks a little bit to our students. You know, if you are considering this as an area, or there's something that grabs your attention, or you get excited by it, it's worth, you know, reaching out and applying for these things. And I suppose things like, from your perspective, employer research would come a long way to help boost that application. And you want to sell yourself and the excitement that you get from that role, but make sure that you're really seeing how you would fit in that context as well. Not had any more sort of messages in the chat for now. Please do drop them in if you want, or like I say, raise your hand. I'm quite interested, so I'll keep asking questions if that's all right with everyone. I know a lot of you, just to reiterate with everyone, that a lot of your applications are open at the moment, and like you say, they are on the website, but they're also on My Career, which everyone's mentioned. So do take the time to kind of look over our panelists, where the company, a lot of it is about matching your values with the company and vice versa. And I'd be interested to hear a little bit around that from our panelists. You've got a lot of opportunities there, things like the Insight Days and this internships. Do you find that that's a good opportunity for people to kind of really feel, I think it was Rupert, apologies if this wasn't you that mentioned it, but you started on a summer internship and stayed because you liked it so much, and that sort of experience is really worthwhile putting yourself out there for. It might be nice to hear a little bit of perspective from yourself. I've got 2 grads here in Bradley, on what your journey kind of from a Newcastle University grad perspective was like.
Yeah, sure. So I'll go straight into it. So yeah, I wasn't, as I said, I wasn't, and the one thing I'd suggest to everyone on the call, candidate wise, at the end of the day, obviously if you're interested in Splunk, fantastic, let me know and let's talk about it. But one thing I'd suggest in general is reach out and do an internship somewhere, because even if it's somewhere that you find that you're not quite enjoying the role or the place you go to, you learn something from that experience, and it really sets you apart when you come away from university and you've actually got an experience to talk about. As I said, I was just looking for something that would hopefully give me a bit of money over the summer, and I thought, well, this is probably going to be more useful towards an end career than just finding a part-time job in a cafe or somewhere. So went along, wasn't really sure what it was going to be like, but I got very positive feelings from the entire interview process. I learned about the Splunk values, which I just opened up to remind myself, which are around, we have 5 core values, which are fun, disruptive, open, passionate and innovative. And that really sort of does come through in the people that work here and the things that drive them. It's really, I didn't really know this is what it was going to be like working for a company, or that could be somewhere that was like this and very open and very much a place where it's not layers and layers of management, but it's somewhere where, regardless of whether you're an intern that comes in on day one or someone who's been here for a long time, your opinion is important, and people would like to hear your perspective.
Yeah, and then for me, in my experience, it wasn't so long ago that I was also graduating and attending an event just like this, and I knew I wanted to start a career in tech, but obviously there are lots of options, and so I just went to a career fair, and I actually ended up speaking to Danielle. And what was very clear to me as I was kind of having that conversation was just the kind of the culture and the atmosphere which they had at Infinity Works, which is what really drew me towards it. An atmosphere where there is a constant and real focus on just delivering like technical value, technical excellence for the customers, building great products, because at the end of the day, that's what our clients want. But then that's also combined with kind of some more kind of slightly more collaborative and a little less serious values. Like I think respectful irreverence is the one that we like to use, where we're honest with our customers and we take our job seriously, but we don't take ourselves too seriously at the same time, and we can do a good job but also kind of enjoy doing it, which has been a great part for me. And also just working in technology in general is, I think the more that you learn, the more that you realize that you don't know. And that's kind of a journey that I kind of have found myself having, or every few months I kind of ask myself that question. I feel like I've learned something new, but then there's 2 or 3 new things to learn. And one of the things I've loved about being at Infinity Works is that everyone is always asking questions all the time, no matter who they are. Some of our most senior principal engineers that are you know, that have decades of experience building products and are kind of real thought leaders in all different areas, from like AWS to kind of serverless technologies and various different programming languages. Like, you'll still see them kind of asking for support and help on certain things which they might want to clarify. And that's that kind of atmosphere of just always asking questions and always kind of looking to grow was what drew me, and it's what I've been enjoying the most since I joined, I think.
So nice to hear, and certainly from a career service perspective that you've gone on to love the job that you're in. I think this is echoed across all companies, that, you know, it's a really supportive network of colleagues, and if you do start a role there, that you will have a work family there, and, you know, you'll from day one have experience and be, you know, straight into work and have a lot of good people around you to help you through that. So thank you so much. It's really nice to hear that kind of that perspective for our candidates joining us today. I do have one question, Ryan, if it's all right. I'm just going to ask from the chat. Somebody's asked a question for you in particular, Oliver, if you're happy to take this one. Is there any graduate schemes for lab-based roles? That they'd seen some jobs advertised for graduates, but no specific graduate scheme.
Yeah, I responded to Victoria actually in a message, Rona, but yeah, we don't really have like a set graduate scheme. They're more sort of like jobs that are suitable for graduates with like maybe like biomedical science degrees, biology, chemistry, maths and statistics as well, for our sort of data and programming roles. So yeah, not really a graduate scheme as such, but yeah, jobs that are suitable for graduates.
Great, thank you. Hopefully that answers your question, Victoria, but please do kind of put any follow-up questions in if you want to kind of quiz. There will be a chance to chat to individuals at the end as well, if you do want to kind of get into a bit more about that. Okay, well, I wonder if perhaps we go around the room at this point and just get everyone's top tips. If you can just pick one top tip that you would give anyone that is looking to apply. You know, it's quite a loaded question, and if possible, you can pick a different one. So get in first. That you would want to impart onto people that are listening today and later on virtually.
I'm happy to go first.
Go for it, Danielle.
This is very specific to our process, and it might be applicable to the other companies on the call. But one of the things that trips people up when they're applying for our roles is it's a very simple first stage. So you send your CV and a cover letter. That is simple. I'm sure you know how to do that. But we also have 3 questions that we ask as part of the application. And those questions are designed to just understand how the person thinks. They're not technical. They're really just, you know, one of them has an element of problem solving. One of them has an element of what they think about technology, just generally in the world, what they think about teams. So I would just say it's a top tip from InfinityWorks perspective is spend some time on those questions, because we've had people put one line, and unfortunately, although it might be a great line, there's not a lot there for us to be able to score. So I would say, you know, our cutoff point is the 11th of November. Maybe have a look at that application now. And if you are going to apply, have a little think about it before you actually do the application, and then definitely put some effort into those questions, meaning we can, because we want to give a good score and we want you to do well. So just, you know, give us as much to go on as you possibly can. And that would be one of my top tips. And the other one would be really express why you want to work for the company that you're applying for. So if it's InfinityWorks, tell me why. If it's one of the other companies on the call, tell them why. Because we want you to really want to work for us. If we think that you're excited about our roles, that makes us very excited about what you have to offer as well. So they're my 2.
Thanks, Danielle. So important, isn't it? And, you know, it's, you know, even if you get someone else to read it over just to see if that message is coming across, you can get very far into an application and lose sight of it sometimes. It's crucial at that very early stage just to give yourself the space to write a good application. So thank you so much. Very good top tip. So someone wants to jump in with their next.
I'm happy to jump in and really to echo that final point that Danielle, you said. I think that's so important, and I think a way to do that, because we don't have those 3 questions. So for us, we go off what's in your CV, what's in your cover letter. That's the information we are using to sift through and decide who we want to take through to the next stage. So that message needs to come through. in those documents. You don't need to submit a cover letter if you don't want to, if you feel like your CV portrays you and gives enough information, but please do tailor it and make sure that it does show that you want the job, that you've read the job description, and that you're highlighting why you would be a good fit for the role. So I think for me, that's probably the place that a lot of candidates fall down on. And yeah, so do take the time to tailor your applications as you're applying for different positions.
Great, thank you. Yeah, and it's it might sound simple, but it's so important, isn't it? And just to make sure that you're reflecting what you've asked for and those sorts of things, and really tailoring it to sell yourself in that job context. Oliver.
Yeah, mine's pretty similar to Kim and Danielle, to be honest. Yeah, do your research into the company and the role. I do all our telephone screenings for our placement opportunities and do obviously a lot of calls, and it's quite competitive. And the first question is, what do you know about the business? And if somebody says, oh, well, I don't really know too much, it's quite obviously can be a little bit frustrating. And if ask what they know about the role or why they want to work for the business, and it's just, oh, I want to do a placement. Again, it can be a little bit frustrating. So yeah, I'm not expecting you at the telephone interview stage to know loads about the business or the role, but just do a little bit of research to show that you've actually took the time to look into the position and what we do.
Great, thank you. Yeah, and that's why events like this are taken, once your applications are up, you've obviously got your profile on My Career, those sorts of things are a good footing to just getting that research in and really applying context to what it is you're asking for. Thank you so much. And Rupert.
Yeah, I think everyone's hit it nail on the head, really. I think we've all had the same things that can sometimes push people down. But
yeah.
The other thing I'd say, just to take a little bit of a detour, would be really convey your interests outside of the thing that's going to specifically tie yourself to this role. So, for example, for those who are currently university students, tell us about what you'd like to do outside of that. Tell us about your interests, because that's always something that's something that's nice to mention when you get to the interview stage, and it can make you memorable in the interviewer's consciousness of that. At Splunk, we have a thing where every all hands call, so every month, the first couple of minutes is a bit of a sort of video package where we have a couple of employees around the world tell us about their 1 million data points, which is essentially them talking about something that people, everyday colleagues that spend every day next to them in the office wouldn't know about them, something they're into or something about them, something about their past. So I'd definitely say make sure to get across who you are and things that drive you and interest you in any application.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and it's not one that you often think that there might be space for that in an application. You feel like it's got to be very kind of work relatable or work experience, but it gives you that full picture. And again, that's something that you look for. So with company research, you would see that it's going to be a really important part of giving the full picture of who you are and what you like and what skills you can bring as a consequence of that. Great. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to hand back to Ryan. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you everyone for answering all those questions. So we're coming towards the end of the session. We'll be stopping the recording.